So hi guys, welcome. This is the very first NakedTog recording, and because it's not really fair to expect other people to do this, I'm going to do it first. And Sharon is going to be the host essentially, and she's going to ask me the questions that she has prepared in advance. So I'm going to basically be the first guinea pig. This is something that we're really looking forward to doing. I think it's going to be great to see a really raw and honest version of events behind individual photographers, but also the wider industry as a whole, and things that we can do to support each other. And I think a large part of helping other people will be letting people know that they're not alone with whatever it is that they're feeling. So we're going to split this up into probably 3 different recordings. One will probably end up as a podcast, but unconfirmed as of yet. The full length video will be distributed into the premium membership, and a little highlight reel will end up on YouTube. Sharon knows me anyway. Sharon works with us here. Sharon will probably be known by a lot of you guys as well. If you've sent an email, Sharon will probably be the one who's replied to it. So Sharon doesn't know me already, but she doesn't know some of the answers to these questions. So I think it's going to be really interesting and fun. So Sharon, do you want to just kind of, I guess, start? Go on, hit me with the first question. Let's just jump straight in.
Okay. So would your advice be to other people if they're sort of starting out in business? Is that drive, your drive, the way you're created, is that essential in being able to successfully run a business?
I think so, yes. I don't think that you can be a successful business owner without making exponential sacrifices in every other area of your life, especially for the bit where it's growing. So if you look at the history and the background of all of the big successful businesses, like way bigger than anything that we have, but if you look at their backstory and their history, they're all driven by these very tenacious people who oftentimes have no social life, no romantic life, no nothing that would constitute as normal life. And I think that there's a middle ground that you can be on and be both have these other areas of your life and have some balance. But there definitely is an element of you have to go all in because nobody else is going to go all in. It's just you. So the book stops with you. You have to be the one that carries that forwards because no one else is going to be there to do it. So you are kind of alone in it.
Did your family recognize that, and did they support you throughout that journey? And then coming to today's, how we are today, how do you, as you say, that's a lot of balls to juggle. It's a lot of people to continue to keep happy, to love, to share your time and your feelings with. How do you find that now? How do you do it? How does that work?
If we jump to the end, I don't think I do it very well most of the time, but we can get there. So I actually don't really remember most of my childhood. I don't remember a lot of it. I don't really remember anything from the ages of maybe 11 through 16, so maybe even 17, 18. I don't actually remember a lot. There's a lot of blank gaps. There's a lot of emptiness, and I've worked with therapists previously to work on memory repression and memory regression, 2 different things. And we've kind of pieced together some of the middle sections. I've had help from other people to create timelines to actually fill in the gaps of what happened within that middle period. How it works now in terms of juggling things, I'm a lot better than I was even 2 years ago, and I can see that part. A therapist said to me, "Yeah, but don't you think you should have more friends?" And I really got to me that one, and I thought maybe I should have more. Do normal people have friends? Like, is this not normal? I don't know, because I only know my version of normal. So I'm like, is this not normal? And then I remember getting kind of frustrated about it, and we ended the therapist-patient relationship shortly after that comment was made, because actually I'm really happy with my current circle. It's a tight circle. Everybody understands me being the strange individual that I am, but I truly love what I do. Not necessarily all of the time. Sometimes it's testing, sometimes it's disasters, and we firefight a lot. But I genuinely do love what we do. I love helping people. I absolutely love watching people progress. I love seeing that transformation. And I also love seeing the change in people's self-esteem and self-worth as they go through that journey.
We kind of touched on social media earlier on. What's your personal experience of social media, and how have you dealt with it?
Yeah, social media for me as an absolute introvert, like a genuine full-on introvert with social anxiety and actual difficulty with a lot of social situations. Social media is horrendous. It is not a place for me or for people who are like me. If you have a conversation with me, the chances are we're going to get real deep real quick. It's not, I don't do small talk. I don't do like, oh, how's the weather? You know, like, oh, what have you been up to with the family? I'm like, and what's your deepest, darkest secret? And we'll start there and then kind of ramp up. So yeah, that's kind of like, it's, for me, social media is very kind of top level, it's inauthentic for me personally, and so I've always tried to be super authentic. In the past, there's been times when I felt so low that making a YouTube video or doing anything public makes me feel like I genuinely just want to cry, and the chances are that I probably had been crying maybe for hours prior. And I just am not in the right frame of mind to do it, but I know I have to do it. And then that's when I've had to put on this persona of being happy and okay. And I've not done it very well. You can see when those moments have happened, because I find it really difficult. But trust for me is so important. Trust and honesty, integrity, those are like my core values. I'm like top drawer kind of level things. And so I find social media as a general concept now really difficult. We're not really creating for us that much anymore. I know if I shoot an image for Instagram, because I shoot it for Instagram, and I'm not shooting it because of how I wanted to shoot it. I'm shooting it because I know it's going to do really well on Instagram. And I think that's sad. I think that's really sad. So there's kind of like, Instagram's a different world to YouTube. YouTube has got more trolls on it than Instagram has on it. Trolls, I camp into two different types. There's trolls, which are typical trolls, and then there's a different type of troll, which is kind of like a personal attack troll, which I think is like a bit different. The second I started saying that on my intro, I used to say, hi, I'm Jess. Now I say, hi, I'm Jessica McGovern, international multi-award winning portrait photographer. Because if I don't say that second phrase, I get so much hate and backlash about whatever it is that I'm talking about. It's either not right, it's not true, I'm a rubbish photographer, it's not, just all of the negatives tend to come up then. If I say that phrase, then no one says anything. And I find that so baffling, but that's why I say it. Like, I don't need to say that all of the time. I found negative comments really, really difficult. And a lot of people said, oh, well, you shouldn't be an influencer if you can't deal with the negative. You shouldn't be an influencer if you can't deal with the hate. I never wanted to be an influencer. I'm an introvert by nature. I don't like showing people the background of my life. I don't like being open to a point where it's kind of personally, like, emotionally dangerous for me. I don't like it. But the other side of it is I've helped thousands of people. I've helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people to get better and improve and put themselves in a better place. And that for me outweighs the negativity. But it doesn't mean that I can accept the negativity. Like, it's kind of a strange situation. The only reason why we're still releasing YouTube videos genuinely is because they help people. There is no other reason for us to put ourselves through this as a team than if they didn't help people. It doesn't help us at all. It doesn't help our business run. It doesn't help anything, but it helps the people. It helps the photographers at the other side who are struggling, or they can't work out how to do something, or they just want to feel connected to another person, and that person just so happens to be me, and I'm fine with that. So That's why we kind of carry on. But I always say to other people, if you're in a situation where you are in a community, a group, or you're interacting with individuals online or in person, but online specifically, that makes you feel less than good. And I'm not saying just one time somebody said a comment and it made you feel a bit down. I'm talking like if incessantly it makes you feel less than good, or that you are not worthy of something, or it reduces your self-worth or self-esteem, then you need to remove yourself from that situation. Because again, kind of like the business thing, the only person that's going to be able to do that is you. No one's there to protect you, so you have to be there to protect you. You have to kind of self-parent again.
Do you ever get over the whole imposter syndrome? Because I think for people starting up in business in this particular industry, that's going to be a thought process that's going to maybe stop them from taking that leap.
Yeah. So I think it can go one of two ways. I think that most people feel like that. Like I feel like most people start there. And I think if you don't, then maybe you're even overconfident at that point. I think there's like a balance. And I think anybody would feel that it's, not good enough, or that you're why are you here, why is it you can't do this, or whatever it might be that's going through your head. And no, it never goes away. It doesn't go away. It just gets easier, I guess, to kind of like tune out. But then that's what makes us human, because if we didn't have that, we'd be psychopaths. So I think having that level of awareness to be able to say, I'm not feeling great about this right now. I don't feel like I should be here. I don't think I'm worthy of this. I don't think that anybody should pay me for this stuff. I just roll with it. I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to see where we end up. And hopefully it will end up in a good place. That's kind of my mentality of working with it. So the first time I was asked to teach on a stage or speak on a big stage, it was the same thing. I was like, I don't even know really why I'm here, because I'm surrounded by these other individuals who I put on a higher pedestal than I put myself, because I'm never going to be let's be honest, I'm not going to put myself on a pedestal. But then at the same time, why is my knowledge less than those individuals' knowledge? It's not about me as a person. It's about what I can bring to the table. I can do this work better than the client can do that work, and therefore I am worthy of being paid to do the work. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day.
Do you ever have a morning where you sort of wake up and you just think, do you know what? No more. This isn't for me. And if you do, how do you get out of bed? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I have. I think I don't know. Does everyone else have those days? I don't know. I have those days, and I have both. I don't really want to do this business anymore, or I don't want to keep doing this work anymore. Usually for me, it's a work-life balance thing. So I don't want to have to keep sacrificing this anymore. It's more that side of it rather than doing whatever I'm doing. It's more of a sacrifice. But then you have the other side where I have like a full-blown breakdown. The most recent one would have been, I don't know, I'd say a late September, late September or very, very early October this year. And I was in a really bad place. There was a lot of things that weren't going great. I remember that time specifically, I was sat upstairs. I think I went into the house. For me, my bed or bedroom is a really safe place. And I remember just sitting on the bed, and I just felt so low. And I rang Dan and I said, I need help, and I need help right now. And he came up, and I was just like inconsolable sobbing, is probably the easiest way of describing it. Because I was like, I know I need help right now. I can't keep going. I'm quite mentally strong, but there's like a limit to that. There's like a top side edge that I can get to before it kind of is just too much. And certain times of year are a lot harder for me than other times. And it was just kind of this melting pot of everything all together. And so I know at that point I need help. There's difference between suicidal thoughts and suicidal ideation. So there's different elements for both. But the best thing that anybody can do if they're genuinely in that situation is to walk into a doctor's surgery or a doctor's office. I've done this before. I walked into a doctor's surgery when I was 21, I think. And the receptionist said, what's wrong? We don't have any appointments for a week. And I said, I really need help now. I want to die. And I just said those words, and it was like a switch flicked, and everybody just sort of looked after me at that point. But I just didn't understand I didn't know what to do. And I didn't really see any other alternative options there. So there's when you wake up and you don't want to do what you're doing, and you think, okay, I need to maybe reframe my schedule, move things around, prioritize different things, make sure I'm getting my self-care, make sure I'm getting my exercise, food, water, etc., etc. There's that side of it. But then there is the point where you think, yeah, I can't do this anymore, as in I can't do life anymore. And then that becomes a different thing entirely. And I have both, one more regularly than the other one. So it's very infrequent that I end up at the worst case scenario there. The single best thing is to just reach out for help, because every single time I've never been let down. I've had a bad experience with one psychiatrist in one hospital one time, but that's it. And overwhelmingly, everybody else has been genuinely fantastic. So we will put some resources below this video, probably on top of the video, with the audio as well, just to make sure that everybody has access to resources wherever you are.
What are some of the things that you would say to somebody? These are the really positive things that you will get out of photography.
When I've done a client shoot, and then because I do in-person sales sessions, so viewing sessions, there is genuinely nothing better, and this is going to sound like a little bit twisted and wrong, but it's not, but there's genuinely nothing better than watching that person cry at the photographs that you've taken. And I know that seems like really twisted, because like watching someone cry shouldn't be like a good thing, but you know that you've done your job. You have captured this moment so well that it makes this individual feel something so powerfully that they cry. That is especially, and I don't know why, but I give extra points to when I can get the men to cry. That's like extra top points for me. By their pictures. So if you're watching this as a short clip somewhere, I photograph like dogs and things for families. So it's nothing like morbid or like horrendous. But if I can get a client to cry at the images that I have shot and created of something that they adore, then I know I've done a really good job. I feel like I held it together like pretty well.
You'll be exhausted.
I think it would be good, guys, if you could just give some feedback. Please be gentle, because when somebody bears their soul, they don't need to get negative comments. But if you can, just probably maybe pop a few little bits and pieces wherever you find this, if you can comment on it. And if not, then you can always send us, probably Sharon, an email at hello@thattalkspot.com to be able to find us after that. Hopefully this was useful for at least one person, because if it was, then we did a good thing, and it would all be worthwhile.